Ok, acho que sim.
Should we take the masks off, or
It's
we can choose?
It's your
Okay,
choice.
okay.
Yeah.
Maybe when we speak.
Good afternoon, all, and a very warm welcome to you all for attending this press conference. Today we have 3 films from World Panorama section of International Film Festival of India. The first one is Valentina, directed by Cássio Pereira dos Santos. Second is Moral Order, directed by Mario Barroso. We have 2 lead actors of the film here. The director is not present. And the third film is a documentary project. Its name is An Impossible Project, directed by Meurer. First, I will give a brief about all the 3 films, and then I would request the directors and the actors to tell briefly about their films. The first film, Valentina. Valentina, a 17-year-old girl, moves to countryside of Brazil with her mother, Marcia, to start afresh. To avoid being bullied in her new school, Valentina tries to enroll with her social name and keep the fact that she is transgender a secret. However, the girl and her mother quickly face dilemmas when the local high school needs a second parental signature for her enrollment. Valentina is a reflection of the real-life hardships that society forces a strong young woman to endure and embrace who she is. The film has got recognition at Outside Florida LGBTQ Film Festival, Warsaw Film Festival, and Sao Paulo Film Festival. Mr. Santos studied cinema at the University of Brasilia, where he directed fiction and documentary projects. After finishing film school in 2003, he wrote and directed 8 short films. His works have been selected at several international film festivals and have received more than 50 awards. Valentina is his debut feature film, and he is currently working his second project. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you so much.
Our second film, Moral Order. The director is not present here, but I would like to give a brief introduction about him. Mario Barroso was born in Lisbon in 1947. He then studied theater and directing at INSAS in Brussels. He is considered one of the best and most famous Portuguese directors of photography and has worked with many renowned directors. He has directed short films, documentaries, television shows, TV films, and 3 feature films. We have a lead actress, Vera Moura, present here from the film, and the actor, João Pedro Mehmed. He's also present here. A warm welcome to you both.
Thank you.
We have Jans Meurer, who is the director of An Impossible Project. A brief about him. Based in Berlin, Mr. Jans Meurer has directed documentaries in Soviet Union, South Africa, Israel, and the United States of America. And then he produced the Oscar-nominated The Last Station. In 1995, he was awarded the European Academy for his work and his documentary about the Black Panther movement. Public Enemy in 1999 premiered at the Venice Film Festival. In 2013, he returned to directing documentaries like An Impossible Project. I would kindly request to give brief introduction about their films and documentaries. We will go in this order, Valentina, then Moral Order, and then An Impossible Project.
Okay. Valentina, the idea to make Valentina started 7 years ago. We started researching for our first feature film after making 7 shorts, 8 shorts in fact. And we, during this research, we came to this fact that around 80% of Brazilian trans students, they drop out of school. They don't finish high school. And because the school environment is very, it's a hostile environment for them. They cannot stand that place, and they drop out of school. And that's a really big issue in Brazil. because Brazil is the country that most kills transgender people in the world. So there are a lot of hate crimes. It's related to prejudice, and it's also related of ignorance. People don't know this universe, and trans folks, they suffered a huge bias in school. They drop out of school, and they cannot access the job market because of this. They don't have a diploma to show. So when they knock on a company to ask for a job, for example, they are in disadvantage for two reasons: because they don't have a diploma, and because there is prejudice. And when they cannot access the job market, they end up being marginalized. So if most of the Brazilian trans persons, they are in prostitution nowadays, it all starts in school, because the school is an environment that doesn't accept them. And it still is a huge problem in Brazil, and we realized that it was a movie that should be made to make this issue more visible and maybe start to change reality. I mean, if you want to change reality, you should make the issue visible. So we did this film to shine a light on this issue and try to, try to give visibility to this issue and try to change the reality of these people.
Okay, thank you. I would like to now give a brief introduction of second film, Moral Order. In 1918, Maria Adelaide Coelho, heiress and owner of a prominent newspaper, abandoned the social, cultural, and family luxury in which she lives to escape with an insignificant chauffeur, 22 years younger to her. The consequences of this decision will obviously be painful and morally devastating. We have two lead actors who can brief us more on the film. Over to you, please.
Hi. So the movie is about it's about women's freedom, especially this Maria Adelaide, which is unfortunately it is a true story in Portugal. It really happened, and there's a woman that she needs to take a step and leave her house, her high society class, her costumes, everything, because she was one of the most richest families in Portugal. So and my part my role in the movie, it's also about, I'm the maid. I'm her maid, actually, and I get pregnant by her husband or her son, which is kind of mystery for everyone. And I'm also one of the girls that is free. And it's about that. It's about women trying to find their voice in society, and who has a voice and who is using it, or who can't have a voice, can't even have a voice, like me, like a maid that cannot speak. Even if she wants to, she can't. And I don't know what to say more. It's a beautiful movie, of course, because Mário Barroso, he does the photography. I think it's like, that's how you say. He's directing and does the photography, and he's amazing. It's a movie with every scene is like a painting. Then you have a little bit of Caravaggio. Then you have it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful movie. It's very beautiful.
I would request Joe to please tell us something about the movie.
Hello, everybody. I played the chauffeur. Maria Adelaide, this character portrayed in the film by the great actress Maria de Medeiros, she runs away from her environment out of you don't know really what's her motivation. It could be out of vengeance, out of love, but other men, other alienists of the time think it's out of madness. Oh, they decrete it as out of madness because in that time, as Vera was saying, women didn't have a real. They did have a voice, but they couldn't express or make make her voice heard. So she's hospitalized by the great alienists of the time because she did a thing out of freedom. And what can I say more? It's a very beautiful movie.
Very theatrical.
It's very theatrical.
Also.
Yeah. And
Theater is a big part of the movie. Like you have, I don't know if you have seen the movie, but it starts with hair, like someone opening the air, and it's like the curtains of a theater opening and ending, and there's a lot of theater in the play, in the movie. Like you have Menina Julia from August Strindberg, which is a relationship between a higher society and a servant, and then you have also Mariana Soror. You have a lot of plays in the movie.
Okay, thank you so much. Our third film is a documentary, An Impossible Project. I will briefly introduce the documentary. Put down your phones. This is 90 minutes of digital detox. An Impossible Project is an entertaining and sensuous film about the renaissance of analog in our digital lives. We follow an eccentric scientist as he embarks on a fierce mission to save the world's last Polaroid factory. An inspiring underdog story of a 21st century Don Quixote and a sumptuous invitation to fall in love with the real things. The film is fully shot on 35mm. The film got officially selected in Istanbul Film Festival and Rotterdam International Film Festival. We have the director of the film, Jans Meurer, with us. I would request him to please let us know more about the film and the project.
Thank you, with pleasure. So, hello. Yeah, my documentary is a little bit unusual in that it's not a problem film. My documentary is a happy solution film. It's all about the fact that we as humans are analog. We have 5 senses. It's not just what you have with digital, which is all you can look at it and you can hear it, but you can't touch it and you can't smell it and you can't taste it. I came across this crazy Austrian guy who, in the same year that the first iPhone was introduced, had this idea that he has this calling that he must save the last Polaroid factory, you know, like instant photography. Everyone said to him, "You're totally crazy, all this, you know, like this is the new god, digital." And he said, "People, you will realize one day that we as humans, we are more than just digital technology. You know, we are physical, we want to touch one another, we want to be connected, we want to be in the real world." So I started following his story for 7 years, from total disaster, because everything went wrong at the beginning, to now there is Polaroid in the world again. Mm-hmm. But it's a metaphor for something that you know, we all experience, and I know from my screening here in Goa, the reaction was the same as in Holland or in Poland, for example, that many people, you know, there are lots of good things about digital life, but you want everything to be digital? You never write a love letter again? So my film, in a way, is a love letter made on film to invite the audience, to invite you to think about real things again, to think about reading a real book again, real newspaper, listening to real music, not just digitally, because it's actually quite a good thing in everyone's life. So my film, therefore, of course, was not shot on digital. It was shot on classic movie format, 35mm. And it's a little bit of a underdog story as well, because I think this year it was the only film at the IFFI this year that is shown on 35mm with a real film print. But I hope we will continue with this, and I can tell you I was very honored to be invited to IFFI this year with this film, because it's only the third time that it was shown with a real audience in a real cinema with a real film print, and people actually really laughing or discussing afterwards. So I'm very grateful to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. Before we open the floor for the questions, I have a question each for our guests. I would like to ask Mr. Cássio Santos, the director of Valentina, what was your inspiration behind making this movie? I saw the film. I got a chance to watch it yesterday evening. So I liked it. And was there any reason behind casting a transgender actor for the film? Wouldn't be a female actor could do the film? Did you have any thinking behind that? If you would like to elaborate, please.
For us, it was really important that the actress was a transgender actress, because I think it's important to have transgender people in the screen, because the film tells about the story of a marginalization of this character. And if we casted like a cisgender actress, I think it wouldn't be good for the project. It was important for us that we would employ and find this transgender girl.
So that the emotions come naturally?
Yes, yes, because I think we found Chiesa, which is the main actress. We already knew that we wanted a trans actress for this role, and we published like a call for any transgender woman or girl who was interested in making this film. And we posted this on Instagram, Facebook, and we received around 50 videos. So these trans actors, they didn't have to be a professional actress, but they should be interested in making a film. So they recorded a video, like a really simple scene with a friend, and they sent these videos to us through the internet, and we received around 50 videos from transgender girls from all over Brazil, and we found Chiesa, which is the main actress. In Brazil, after she sent that video, we realized she was a YouTuber. She already had experience with camera, so she had like several followers. But we wanted to make sure that she could act for film, which is different from YouTube. I think it's a different medium, a different language. And we invited Chiesa to our city so that we could shoot some scenes with her and the actor who was helping us. And we found that she had potential for cinema too. So it was a long process to find the right person. But we were really happy we found Chiesa, because she's really talented. And it was really special for her to be in a movie. She said it changed her life.
Yeah, she was outstanding in the film.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
My next question is to the actor and actress of Moral Order. Was there any special you made for the role you were casted in? And what you thought about the story of the film? Did you think it's primarily a woman-centric film? Would like to know your thoughts on that.
Well, I had preparation with a Brazilian coach because he was doing a workshop in Lisbon, and I went there because I already knew him, and he's very about the physical.
What's his name?
Sergio Pena.
Sergio Pena. He's famous. Yeah.
He's very famous, and he's very, very good. And we did I did the second workshops. There were 2 workshops, and I took the first and the second. And the second, you could bring your characters to the workshop, and I didn't even make the movie. It was like 2 months before we were going to do the movie, and I already played the character with other actors in the room, and it was very difficult because when you're playing a maid, a servant, which is kind of necessary to give a shout out to this word, because in Europe, when you have, how do you say, empregada? A maid?
A maid.
When you have a maid, it's different from being a servant. A servant serves the family, she doesn't serve only dinner. She serves the needs of a man, of everything. Like if he wants sex, you serve. And that's really difficult to put in a underage servant. That was what I did. She was like 17 years old, and you need to put a lot of life that I don't have because I'm from Europe. I'm 25 years old, and my life's good. And so you need to take a step back to give 2 steps in front, and that was a beautiful process. But I think if the movie, your question is if the movie is about
woman-centric, whether it is a
yeah, I think it is. And Mario, it's not the first time that he has like the women are a big thing in the movie. So I think he has a love story about our about Portuguese women, I think.
You would like to speak about your role in the film, please?
Yes, I didn't have any preparation at all. I didn't have even had my driver's license at the time. But I started doing the lessons while I was shooting. And that was helpful somehow. I would say that all characters gravitate around the main character, Maria Adelaide, and it's like everyone is connected through through her needs, her wishes, and that's very woman-centric of the film, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. I would now request Jans Meurer to please tell us, as the world is moving towards the more sci-fi movies, when we talk about artificial intelligence, virtual reality, Internet of Things, what was your driving force behind making a movie that we should take a step back and analyze our lives and go for analog than just moving towards digital and digitizing everything? Your thoughts, please.
I have to apologize. I have to correct you. My movie is not about taking a step back. My movie is about taking a step forward. I think the idea to realize that there are some physical things like, using a real film camera, which makes photos that 20 years from now I will still have these photos at home because they lie in my drawer. They're physical. They won't disappear. The pictures I take on this one, for almost all of us, we don't keep them. They disappear. We get a new phone, the pictures are gone. So my film is not at all about nostalgia or retro. It's about that we need to think a little bit more. We need to slow down. We need to be more conscious about what we're doing. And we need to resist this idea of convenience, that everything is quicker and easier with the internet and the Internet of Things. I don't think that's true. Some of it is good, but some of it is important to us that it's at the speed that people live and think and feel. And when we lose that, we get bad everything. We get bad politics, we get bad health, we get bad love life. There's a real reason to take some of the real things and haptic and physical things into the future. Now, it's funny that I say this because I'm not a Luddite. I'm not a retro person at all. And about 15 years ago, I produced the first digital film that ever did any real business. I produced a film that the older of you will remember called Russian Ark by Alexander Sokurov. And Russian Ark was the first film that was shot entirely without editing, and it could only be done digitally. And we kind of invented a way of shooting a whole cinema film. It's got thousands of actors and so on in an 86-minute shot. And it could only be done digitally, for real. There's no editing. And so in a strange way, this film that I produced was a digital milestone. It was also the beginning of the end of analog film. So I felt 15 years later it's a good idea to do a film on 35 to make up for what I started.
Basically, I think we should have a balance of both in our lives, because both have positives and negatives, and we should deal with it accordingly. I think I am right.
Yeah, let me add something. I think you're completely right. It's not about digital is bad and analog is good. It's about getting the balance. But you can only have this balance if some people defend that there still are analog things. You know, like I make books of my films. You know, these are 35 millimeter stills, and I can carry it. You know, I can't download it or upload it to you. So you need some people who use this, or it goes away. And so in that way, my film is an invitation to all of you and you to keep using these things. Buy a newspaper today, buy a book, you know, buy something, write somebody a love letter. Mm-hmm. I mean, isn't it crazy? This is going to be, the last 20 years is where no one will have a love letter anymore. History is full of great love letters, but except for our great modern age, it's gone. No one will find a WhatsApp message in their attic in 40 years later.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Microphone, if...
I really like your concept, sir. But first of all, I just want to know from you whether your film speaks about the mobile addiction, smartphone addiction, because this has been a very, important issue in Goa. Even about half an hour back, one boy committed suicide when his father tried to snatch away the mobile phone from his hands. He committed suicide, and these things have this type of incidents are happening in Goa, and even our children, they don't go out with this smartphone. They lock themselves in the room, and they are all on digital. They just, don't go out, don't meet people. They are on this Facebook, then all these, apps. So this has become a great issue and a great problem. And even we, as a parent, I feel that there should be, addiction centers for this, these children. So what is your take on this?
Well, you should watch my film. My take on it is it's possible to get away from it. But I really agree with the problem that you described. And what's very interesting, this is one problem that is exactly the same everywhere in the world. Maybe that's a good thing that, we have a problem where we are all in the same boat. And I have 3 children. I have it with my children. I can't believe how many hours they are addicted to this damn thing. But then it tells me that I am doing the same. I have the same addiction. So I think this addiction is unhealthy. It's not fun. And it's we're living in the time of the pandemic. It's also not good for our mental immune system. We are constantly being led by social media and so on. It's too much, and it makes us susceptible to stop thinking, to stupid political ideas. And it's really, really interesting that this is a problem everywhere. But it's also really easy that it's the same solution everywhere. It's just take this and turn off notifications. Put it down, look out the window. The sun is shining. There's a beautiful river out there and a beach beyond it. Let's go to it. Or it's people just sitting having a coffee together. It's really easy to find a balance. You just have to think about it.
People go on the beaches and sit with this, sir. People go on beaches and sit with this. They don't look at the beach also.
I do it.
Also.
We have a saying in Portugal. We are always telling people this in Portugal, and I think all over the world. If you want Instagram it, if you want to show people that you were at the theater, it won't happen. it didn't happen, you know. So there's a need for especially teenagers to show and to show people that, oh, I was there, I went to the museum, you know.
Yeah, very
And
good
that's
Yeah, very good afternoon. This is Ajay from Bangalore. My question is to Santos. Yesterday, it was very beautiful movie. Valentina. It talks about multiple issues, the basically of trans fundamental and protection rights. Very beautifully woven. Whatever earlier we have seen films on similar, it had still some tragic ending where finally, due to oppose from parents or family, either they will commit suicide or honor killing, which is very popular. But you have given a very positive note and positive end, where the society started accepting them as one. That is very good, positive movement. And my question is, the added layer, another is, where the protagonist you have made as a minor. Because so far, whatever we have seen other movies, they will be major, adult, they can take their own decision. Other thing, though you have told, apart from minor, a single parent, even though in communication they say we have not divorced, but the father will be away. So what made you these two things to bring in your story? Is there any reference or any research which you have gone? One is the minor part where the protagonist is still a minor. Other is the single parent, added to new challenges to this whole transgender community. Thank you.
About the relationship with her parents and...
No, I mean, what made you to make a protagonist as a minor still in the movie? Because most of the movies on this one, it will be major, above 18, adult. And added to that, you have made that for minor, there is no only single parent. She will be brought under single parent, even though father is away. Like that. This too is added layer.
I think the problems that are shown in the movies wouldn't have arisen if she is a major and she has completed 18 years of age.
Yeah,
So,
you're right. Yeah,
that's the question.
Yes, because in Brazil it's really common. You have like a single mother, and sometimes the fathers, they abandon the kids and they travel far. And it's really common that you have like a single mother raising a kid by herself. So I think that's the motivation for the film. She wants to enroll with her social name, but the principal, the school tells, okay, you need the signature of your father too. That's the law. And that's her motivation. They start looking for her father. That's like the dramatic objective of the movie. Because if she was like a 18-year-old girl, the story wouldn't take place. So it was important for us that she was a minor.
Thank you, sir. Very good movie.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions from the audience?
Any other festival where you have this movie has been shown?
The question is for me?
For you.
Okay. If it was shown at other festivals, yes. We started attending some virtual festivals because this movie was finished in August last year. It was right in the middle of the pandemic. I think we're still in the pandemic, but it took us like 7 years to prepare this movie, to raise funds and to develop the script and everything. And of course, like every filmmaker, we were expecting like a premiere in Brazil in a nice theater to show to. I mean, that's what filmmakers like. We like to be close to the audience and receive feedback and feel the warmth. And it didn't take place, unfortunately. The first festival that we showed this film, it was Outfest in Los Angeles. It is LGBT film festival there. And it was like a virtual festival. Then we went to Warsaw Film Festival. It was a physical festival. They invited us, but the frontiers closed, so we couldn't come. And yesterday was the first time I saw Valentina in a big screen ever. So it was really, really special for us. After, I think, 9 film festivals showing the film virtually, we don't see the audience. I mean, the festivals asks us for a certain number. Can I show your film to 50 persons? but we don't know which are the 500 persons that watched the movie, and we don't have like a direct feedback. So it's really frustrating for us. At the same time, we know that the pandemic is a big problem for all the world, and I mean, people are dying. There are bigger problems than filmmakers' problems related to the pandemic. But I mean, yesterday was very, very special for us because it was the first time we showed the film in a theater. It was a big achievement. So we came from far from Brazil to see Valentina in the big screen.
A dropout problem. So what is the reason? Main reason is that poverty is the main problem for these dropout students. They are from the poor background. You mean to say?
Sorry?
You spoke about the dropout, no? Of
School
the
dropout.
School dropouts.
The school.
So you mean to say
dropouts, yeah.
because since economically they are backward, that's why they are dropping from the school. You mean to say?
Yes, yes. Valentina, when the film starts, she has dropped out of school. So she moves to another town and she wants to return to school. So she's kind of representing like this big issue in Brazil that transgender kids, they drop out of school because they have prejudice from teachers, prejudice from sometimes the school staff, sometimes colleagues. And that's the beginning of their process of being marginalized. If they can't access education, they end up in prostitution not because they want. I think it happens in several countries, maybe in India as well.
It's a global problem.
It's a global problem, and it all starts. Sometimes it starts in the family because the family doesn't accept them, and they have to be in the streets because of this. And the other big part is schools are not inclusive, so they drop out of school and they don't have a profession. They end up in prostitution not as a choice, but because they have to survive. So it's a global issue.
Okay, thank you. Before concluding today's press conference, any final remarks that our guests would like to make? I would request Vera Moura and Joe Pedro Mehmed to start first. Final remarks on your film, on your visit to India, about IFFI.
It takes a lot of courage to still do a festival during a pandemic. So good. And the thing that is popping in my head right now, it's let's get a balance in our life. The word is balance. Thank you, and balance.
I would say I'm very curious to see your films. But
I want to see yours too.
And maybe we can come back next time. It's very nice to be here in Goa. Thank you.
Anyone of you have seen any Bollywood films? Anyone of you have seen any Bollywood films?
Of course.
Yeah.
We saw one that was with a gladiator. I don't know. I don't know. Como é que se chama aquele? There were a lot of slow motion, and then a lot of a lot of things.
Must be Bahubali only, I think.
He's a gladiator.
Okay.
Is there a nice Bollywood film that you recommend that's playing this year? Which one would you recommend for us to watch?
This time there were no much films because of pandemic. No much films were released.
Yeah.
So there are no new films in IFFI this time.
Whatever OTT releasing, it's not a big cinema experience. For small screens, like content oriented, they are releasing. Still the big cinema, real theater experience, they have not opened up.
Okay.
Slowly now, in next 2 months, it will be.
In our Bollywood films, we have a lot of music, dance.
Yeah.
Full of entertainment.
Yeah, full of entertainment.
I wanted to see one in the big theater, but unfortunately not this year. Maybe next IFFI.
The movie name is Shatranj Ke Khiladi. I think it's Satyajit Ray, directed by famous director Satyajit Ray.
I saw one of his films in a museum in Rio some time ago. Yeah.
I would now request Mr. Jans Meurer to give his final remarks.
Well, I am from Bavaria in Germany, the Alps, the mountains where they make Bollywood films. So, so in Germany, you know, we have a connection. But I join you in saying it was really great to be here in a physical festival. I think it's amazing that, you know, we have colleagues from Brazil and from Portugal. I'm from Germany, that you are bringing together here in Goa. And all I can say is I've already finished my next film, but it's kind of stopped because of the pandemic, and it could really fit in here. It's another documentary on film, and it's got singing and dancing in it, because it's a funny film about the strange people in Europe called the Brits. And I think you might really enjoy it here. It's called Seaside Special. So tell the programmers, and I'm happy to be back.
We look forward to it. Your final remarks, Mr. Santos. Your final remarks.
Okay. I'd like to thank the festival and everybody involved in the event for inviting us, and it's really great to be here among other filmmakers. I didn't think it was possible like 1 month ago, 2 months ago, to have a festival in the middle of the pandemic, but you have proved that it's possible, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you so much.